So this is my Simplisafe Video Doorbell, and it works. You can hear that my Nutone 3003 series is connected to my Simplisafe Video Doorbell. And if you are curious and wondered how I hooked everything up, just stay tuned and I will explain. So before you do anything, you want to pray about it and plan it all out. And this is my concept map, and this helps me put a diagram in my head, and it also gives me a little map, so when I go and hook everything up, I know what I'm dealing with and I know where everything connects. So my suggestion to you is go ahead and pause this video and draw out this concept map so it's in your head and it's clear to you, so that way you can have your own concept map when you go in and start putting things together. So I'm going to give 3 seconds. Alright, so the things you need is a transformer. A 16 volt 30 watts is what I use, and it was what is recommended. Next, you need your Simplisafe Video Doorbell right here. Also, I use 18 gauge wires. Anything less than 18 gauge wire is not recommended. 22 gauge is a small wire, so the higher the number, the smaller the wire, and you don't want that. You also don't want something like a 14 gauge either. A 14 gauge is a bigger wire, but it's harder to manipulate. You would need to have some pliers to manipulate a 14 gauge or a 12 gauge wire. So 18 gauge is best and most recommended. And then you have your Simplisafe Chime Connector right here. This is very important to understand how the chime connector connects. And here's a diagram that comes with your chime connector. Now, how this connects is an analog chime. We don't have an analog chime. We have a Nutone, which is a digital chime. And Simplisafe does not deal with digital chimes really well. That's probably why you're looking this up right now, is because you want to know how a digital chime is connected to the Simplisafe Video Doorbell. So, important things to know about this Simplisafe Chime Connector. We are going to strip this Simplisafe Chime Connector, but before, and I repeat, before you strip this chime connector, you must label the wires. This is very important because you don't want to mess up. This blue wire right here is this blue wire right here. And I would label it as F for front before you strip it. And then it connects to wire, which connects to relay, and then here it connects to F for front, to the Nutone. This is front for front doorbell, okay? Next is this white wire right here. This is this green marker right here. We're gonna label as T. It goes to the relay, goes to the T. Okay, so this is important. These two wires are important. Next is this blue one, so then don't get mixed up with this blue one and this blue one. This blue one goes to the video doorbell. And I will show you a picture of the Simplisafe Chime Connector, and you can tell which goes to what. And you need to label first before you strip. And this one right here is this white one right here, and that goes to transformer. I would not recommend labeling as T, or else you get them confused. Just leave it as is and just know that this one goes to the transformer. Okay? And the reason why I am telling you all this, and I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this, is because I have made the mistake. Yes, I have fried this because I had switched it, and I had to call Simplisafe to get a new one. So just to save yourself a mistake, make sure you label these 4 wires before you strip them and before you connect everything. Okay? So that is something I need to let you know. Next is the relay. You need an AC relay, not a DC relay. DC relays and AC relays are completely different, and you will have to look them up to know what's the difference. But you need an AC relay. The important thing is to know which is the coil side and which is the switch side, because then you know how to hook them up. You don't want to hook this thing wrong. So make sure you know which is the coil side, which one is the switch side. So some important useful tools that you will need is a multimeter, right here. This is to check your transformer to make sure it works. If it doesn't work, then you're not gonna have this all work at all. So you need to make sure the transformer is working. Next, you have your adjustable tester right here. This is a safety reason I use this, is because you should have the main breaker off before you unscrew anything, before you connect anything. You should have the main breaker off, and this makes sure that there's nothing running in this circuit, in this system, before you connect. So this is a safety reason. Next is wire cutters. These are the wire cutters I use. Here's the wire. This is where I cut them, and it's also a long nose plier that I can manipulate wire if I need to. But you just need any kind of wire cutter. Next is the wire nuts, and I don't like to use this one because you can't see if it's really connecting or not, and it's a pain in the butt to like unscrew. It's such a pain, and that's why I use this one, because you can slip the wire in and clip it in place, and because it's transparent, you can see whether your wires are all connecting or not. That's why I like using this. I will put links below of all the items that I bought on Amazon that I used. Next, you need wire strippers. This is, you can get it from Ace Hardware or any kind of hardware store. You can get them on Amazon too. Also, Phillips screwdriver, because the relay, you're going to have to unscrew parts to connect the wire. Right. What else do I need to say? Okay, this possibly you need diodes. That's if you have an old Simplisafe Chime Connector. I'm not going into that because I have a new Chime Connector and I don't know what an old one looks like. But my references pointed out this diode thing that you need to connect to the relay. You can go look in my references if you need to look into this. I am not also going to talk about the rear or the back doorbell because I don't have a back doorbell. So just to make things simple and for time reasons, we're just going to talk about the front doorbell and how it's connected. Some disclaimers. I am not an electrician, nor am I an expert in all this. How I did all this was I looked up YouTube and I did a lot of research. If you're going to follow these instructions, you're going to do it at your own risk. So, but I'm going to tell you, I've had my doorbell working with my video doorbell here and this Nutone, and it's great because I can hear it all over the house because I have an intercom system and I have a security system that all works. My house is not burnt down. I didn't spend like $400 or $500 on an electrician. I don't know what the price would be, but I'm not going to spend that much money just to hook everything up when I could do it myself. And hopefully this information is helping someone out there. This information is for me because I know 6 months down the road I will not remember how I hooked everything up. I can look back at how I did everything, and this is why I'm doing this video. So hopefully I haven't lost you yet. Hopefully I went through everything that's important on this thing. Soon you're going to see some pictures of what a transformer look like, and etc, etc. And make sure you take your concept map with you when you start hooking things up. So I put these pictures up, that way you know what you're looking at. This is a transformer and this is what I bought. Here is the bell wires, the 18 gauge wires that I bought for this. Then we have the Simplisafe Video Doorbell. Next is the Simplisafe Chime Connector, and this is what it looks like. And then we have the relay, and this is what the relay I used. From the top, you're looking at the top of it. Then you look at the side, you can see which is the switch side and which is the coil side. It's important to know which side is what because that's how you're going to hook things up. Next is the chime connector, and we're going to strip this. But before we strip it, we need to label it first. F for front, T for trans. Label it first, then we strip it. That way you know where everything is connected. So here's my old doorbell and what it looks like. We want to remove the faceplate, and on the back of it are black speaker wires. And then there are red push button wires. We are going to disconnect everything and keep the black and red wires. Each wire is 22 gauge, which are small wires. Remember, you need at least an 18 gauge wire for your video doorbell to work. However, if you add 2 of the 22 gauge wires, it will equate to current of 17 gauge wire, which is a better current flow than an 18 gauge wire. So we are going to be using all these wires. Here is the bronze faceplate that I bought online with the video doorbell mount connected to it. I had to drill some holes onto the new faceplate, and then I bought some screws and nuts to anchor it. I will put down a link below where I got the bronze faceplate. The screws and nuts came from a local hardware store. You have to make sure that the screws fit the holes that you drilled and the video doorbell mount. Notice how I connect the red and white 18 gauge wires to the video doorbell mount. Then look how I connect them to the old wires. Notice the white 18 gauge is connected to the black old speaker wires, and the red 18 gauge wire is connected to the red push button wires. Again, we're using all those wires to make sure it powers up the video doorbell. This is what my Nutone 3003 series looked like. We are going to open it up and locate the old black speaker wires and the old red doorbell wires, so we can disconnect them from the motherboard and use them to power and connect our video doorbell. Here is where the old black speaker wires are at, and now this is a close-up. Then this is the red doorbell wires over here, and this is a close-up. It's very important to keep note of where the front and trans are located on the circuit board, because you're going to disconnect the old red doorbell wires and place wires there to connect to the relay. Notice the word front on the circuit board. So we are back on the concept map right now, so you can see where we're at. I did some labeling. If you want to pause this video right now and copy this, that's fine. But it's best to label the way you can remember how things are connected. Here we have my Nutone, and everything's connected, and I have everything labeled. So you'll have to look at the concept map to know where I'm at. First thing we're going to look at is my installed transformer right here. Notice I placed the red and white wires there, so it's easy for me to connect and disconnect from the transformer. And then we're going to look at the old black speaker wires, and it's connected to the transformer, one side of the transformer. The other side is the white wire that's connected to the Simplisafe Chime Connector. And I didn't label this for a reason, so I won't get confused with the other white wire of the Simplisafe Chime Connector. Then you have the old red doorbell wire right here connected to the blue wire of the Simplisafe Chime Connector. This should all match the concept map. As you go further down, as you follow the wires, you see there's the Simplisafe Chime Connector right there and the labeling of T and F. This is very important, guys. You gotta label this correctly and how it's connected to the relay. Again, this should match the concept map. If you need to pause, go ahead and pause the video so you know where we're at. And here's the relay. Make sure you know which side is the coil side and which side is the switch side. And where are we connecting from the relay to the circuit board? Notice this is the front where I'm connecting right here. That's front. It should say front on the circuit board, and that's trans. Remember, those are where the red wires, the old red doorbell wires, were connected. All right, so now we're going to look at the relay right here, at how the wires are all connected. I slow this little video so you can see how it's connected, because it should match the concept map. I drew it out so you know where it's matching, and you can tell which side is the switch side and which side is the coil side. Once you turn on the main breaker, you will see a flickering red light on the relay. It just means that there isn't enough current going through it. But once you push the doorbell, it sends the current to the relay, then it causes the Nutone to chime. After you've done it once, the red light goes away and doesn't come back unless your transformer is not sending enough current, or you decide to shut off the main breaker and turn it back on again. Then again, you have to ring the doorbell for the red light to go away. So after you have connected everything, give it 2 minutes for your doorbell to charge up. Then you will see a white halo light around the doorbell itself. And this is showing that your transformer is working. The video doorbell will start talking and tell you to start to set up and to start syncing your video doorbell with the base station. After that is done, your doorbell will have a blue halo like this one. You want to go ahead and hit the doorbell to make sure it works. I don't know if you can hear my Nutone just chimed for me. Then you want to go back and make sure the red light is off on the relay. Then you want to screw everything back in place. For time purposes, I'm not going to go and show you that. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. If you find it informative, helpful, etc., please hit the like button so I know someone out there is watching this. If you want to leave comments, feel free, but understand I'm not an expert. I may not be able to answer all your questions, but I pray you all safety, blessed, and productivity. This is Jess with Success, signing off.